My question is, what is the future of money looking like? And as Mastercard, how do you see it? Like I said, when we started this, are people even swiping? So physical cards, and a lot of millennials, Gen Z users, are they finding the use of a card as a matter of prestige? There was a time when a credit card was also, a symbol of prestige. Are they seeing it that way? Has the idea of what money looks like completely changed, and how do you see it?
So see, the idea of what a card would look like in the future, it's anybody's guess. I would agree that the card, the form that we know today, plastic, probably won't exist in the very near future, right?
Really?
Yeah, it won't exist in the form of plastic. I still carry a plastic card because I'm still old school, but between tap and pay that we have in the cards world, pretty much you can tokenize your cards, you can digitize your cards on your phone, on your device, on a wearable, on a ring, on a bracelet, and especially now with a lot of foreign companies also coming to India, I don't see a reason why somebody would need to carry a physical card. Now, I carry it simply because I'm saying, agar mera phone ka charge khatam ho gaya, then what? Right? So I carry it for that reason. And that is true for UPI also. Your app won't work if your phone is dead, right? So I don't think the card will exist in the physical plastic form, but it will take a digital shape in some form, which may be almost near subconscious. I look at this as it's not too far away in the future, where today the act of payment that we do is a very conscious effort. You go to a shop, you scan a QR, you tap, if you're using cards, you swipe still, some people do, and it's a very conscious activity that somebody does. I think the future is that activity will be in your subconscious, much like the air that you breathe. You breathe air, you breathe it day in and day out, but you don't realize you're doing it. Right?
This is sounding like a Black Mirror episode.
No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely not. This whole concept of agentic commerce, AI-enabled commerce, that's exactly what it's going to enable. What it is going to enable is you will have something that will be a form of identity. It could be your smile, it could be your biometric, it could be your body mass, it could be your, your blood metrics. Who knows in the future what would that look like? But today it is your retina scan, it is your fingerprint, it is something else. Smile is another one that people are talking about.
No, but Gautam, if every time I smile, I spend money, I'm going to have to stop smiling.
No, so I think there is, of course, a framework, right? So in our world, we talk about a framework of context, right? In what context are you, let's say, smiling? And therefore, is that the context? We'll identify, is it you, who you are? Do you have something that requires to be paid for? We'll have to create trust in the ecosystem. So I use a word called trust, which really has 3 pillars. It's convenience, it's safety, right? And it's also trust in the form where it's without any friction, right? We have been very focused as an industry on the safety aspect, on the convenience aspect, but the friction aspect is something that we've not really solved for. We talked about it backstage. Today, pretty much anything that we want to do in our lives, you require a second factor of authentication in the form of an OTP. I'm sure half of us don't want to get another OTP SMS.
OTP se chutkara dilaiye.
Exactly. So that we are doing that thanks to the RBI again. In payments at least, we are doing that. We have this thing called the alternate authentication framework, which essentially replaces OTP. I won't say replaces, but augments companies to not use OTP, but use another form of authentication, which is biometrics. So in this case, passkeys is the term that we're using as an industry, where your biometric that is embedded on your phone, much like what you use your biometrics to unlock your phone, any phone today, the same biometric could be used to actually make a payment, right? And that would remove that friction aspect. But that is the early stage of this friction-free payment as I'm talking about. But there will be a day, and not too far from us, where you will walk in and walk out of stores where you wouldn't go through the conscious effort of paying. The system will be smart enough.
For example of how all of these things fit in. You talked about non-plastic payments, including on devices. You talked about biometrics, including Smile. You talked about a subconscious autonomous payment. So in an everyday scenario, what does this actually look like?
So let's take them each one by one, right? So today, for those of us who are transacting out there, when you go to a shop, you buy something, and you either use a UPI QR, you actually make the physical payment, you pull out a card, you swipe your card, you can tap your card if you have tap enabled on your card or on your phone, and those are conscious actions that you are taking, and all of this is enabled with various levels of safety and security. And we, in Mastercard parlance, we actually authenticate you, where we confirm it is who you are, who you're saying you are, and then we authorize the transaction saying, okay, this transaction is, let's 400 rupees. You're trying to do, yes, you know, Tamanna is who Tamanna is, and she's making a 100 rupee transaction from her credit card, and she actually has a credit line that has 100 rupees available, and let the transaction go through. And then, of course, the bank that you have the credit line against allows for the transaction to go through. So those are the motions that we go through. In a world where agentic commerce will come into play, where AI will come into play, there would be systems that will do exactly what we just described, where a system, an agent will work on your behalf because your smile will be registered somewhere. Again, I'm using smile. I don't know what that would look like. It could be any biometric. It could be any form of biometric. Today, we are used to using a thumbprint or a face recognition that will be matched to some form of payment that is already allocated. You already assigned that whenever I'm making this up, whenever I'm buying something at, what's the store that you shop at the most? A physical store.
Okay, let me not take any names. Say
okay.
XYZ.
So let's say you go to some random store, right? And you would have set your system that, you know, every time I want my authentication, my biometric authentication to pay for something, use this certain form of payment, you know. Let's say I'm going to say use my Mastercard card, right? And as long as the transaction is less than 10,000 rupees, let it go through. Otherwise, ask me for something that will pose a question to me before the payment goes through. Now, you go to the same store in the future where there will be enough AI and technology and sensors that will be allowed in those around in that store, where when you go and you carry a shopping bag with goodies in it, and you walk out, that experience, and you walk out with your biometric getting scanned by all of these systems that are playing there, there will be agents in the background, digital agents that will know it is you who you are, it will know what you bought, how much you bought it for, and it will pay for you.